Working through OTAs?
I thought it was a good spring for Trevor. It's good to get our hands on him, get to work with him, get to sit in meetings, kind of hear how he sees things, what he likes, what he doesn't like. All those conversations that you don't know until you get out there with him and see him do it live. He gets a rep, he comes over, he talks about it. So it was a great experience, and there was a lot to build on as we go with what we got accomplished this spring.
Has he as advertised, or have your impressions changed a little bit now that you've actually gotten a chance to work with him a little bit on the field?
Again, my last impression of Trevor was on the field beating us when I was on the other sideline. So I had a high opinion of him, and I would say that's still the same, and just excited to continue to work with him moving forward.
Can you just talk about your overall impressions of the offense as you guys have built through it this offseason? How have you seen the progress, and where do you guys need to grow?
Yeah, I think we got a lot done. We got a lot put in, a lot installed. We got the chance to teach really the foundation of what we want to do as an offense, and then teach a lot of technique. We're asking guys to do things a certain way. Whether they've done that, whether they haven't, we don't know. But here's how we envision it being done. Here's what we'd like. Go out, do it. Now let's talk about it. Let's coach it. So I think from that standpoint, we got a lot done. And when we were able to kind of sell that vision to the guys of what we want it to look like, they were able to go out there, have success doing it, work through some things, and then we all kind of bounce ideas off one another moving forward. We'd like it done this way. A guy says, hey, I've done it this way, had success, can do it, can verbalize it, can show you video evidence, things like that. And so there's been a lot of good back and forth with the guys building this thing.
Russ, Doug said at the start of this regime taking over that the best 5 offensive linemen were going to be on the field. Obviously, there's some competitions within that offensive line. What have you seen in particular at the right tackle spot?
It's been great competition with those guys, really all those guys. And then you have to have the ability at some point in time to be a swing tackle for us. So, Phil's done a great job mixing those guys, whether it's right tackle, left tackle, coming in a backup role, a starter role, whatever that may be. And those guys have done a great job receiving that. They get put under fire a little bit in this off-season realm the way it is because you're not really padded up. So if a guy's going 80% and you're going 75%, it can look bad at times. You can't really put your hands on guys. That's just the nature of the off-season program. So, you evaluate a lot of things, but you understand in the back of your mind, we're playing within a certain rule set that's not going to be there really come training camp and obviously in games. So, but you get a chance to see technique. You get a chance to see, just the overall understanding of what they're being asked to do, how they're going to do it. So from that standpoint, I think it was a pretty good showing from everybody across the board.
Is Alvin Kamara a better example of how you guys might want to use Travis as opposed to a guy like Eagle?
We'll take the success that those guys have had, no matter who it is, whether it's Travis or any of those guys. I think it's going to kind of be a case-by-case basis, I guess. Whatever's going to give us the best opportunity to put Travis in position to succeed is what we're going to do, whether that's him as a receiver coming to the backfield or as a running back leaving the backfield to be a receiver, whatever that may be. I think that kind of evolves as the season goes or a week by week even, really.
What have been your impressions of Travis? Just seeing him full speed for the first time.
Yeah, the speed's real. That was obviously something everybody knew coming out of college, not having a chance to see a lot of the stuff he was able to do last year because he wasn't able to play. So the speed's very real. He did a good job of just showing understanding of the different roles we're trying to see. And we're throwing him in all different positions just to see, what he's comfortable with, what he needs to work on as we move forward, give him plans moving into the offseason or moving further into summer, coming back for training camp. But he's been really receptive to everything. He's shown, an ability to grasp a lot of different things and show that he's capable of doing things.
Can you kind of tell him and Trevor have had that relationship on the field before, just watching them have reps together?
Yeah, a little bit. And really, after reps, just their communication, it's probably a little shorter than it is with other guys, where they have time banked together. So they go over and it's 1 or 2 words, and they both understand where they're coming from, as opposed to maybe somebody Trevor hasn't thrown with much before. It may be a little bit longer conversation to make sure they're on the same page. But you kind of get a little feel for that with those guys.
How much of the offense do you feel like you have installed at this point? And is there enough in where what the personality of this offense is going to be this year?
I think so. I really do. I feel good about the way we're able to go about it and get, I don't know if I could put a percentage on it. Obviously, there's an ebb and a flow throughout the season of, we thought we were going to be good at something moving forward. Turns out, week 8, that really hasn't been our thing. Let's start to pivot this way. I think that's just kind of the ebb and flow of a season where teams evolve. The season goes and guys are in, guys are out. You're playing this team, that team. You'll kind of feature different things. But, we feel like we got a lot of offense in. a lot of at least what we wanted to accomplish, and then probably we're able to add kind of some bells and whistles and try to mess with guys and stress them a little bit, and the mental aspect of learning the system. And guys were really receptive to that.
Do you have a feel right now for what the offense is going to be about?
Well, we think so. We think so, but again, it's a case-by-case deal. There's going to be games where you go in and say, we're playing team XYZ, and we're going to have to throw the ball over the yard. We're playing this team, we're going to have to run the ball. And we just want the ability to be able to do what we need to do to put our guys in position to win. And so whatever that looks like, I'll tell you on Saturday going into the game maybe, but we'll see how it goes and what we want to do. But we feel like we have enough in, and the guys understand it well enough, and we will, as we go into a game plan, to be able to do what we need to do to put our guys in position to win.
How much does it help to have a guy like Evan Engram on the field, just in terms of his versatility and all things of that nature?
Yeah, you're always looking for matchups. So if we can get a guy we could find a guy with lesser speed to match up with Evan, like whatever that is, formationally, motion, to do something to create a matchup, then we're looking to do that. Obviously, Evan's a great speed threat for a tight end position. And then he has a certain knack. He's got different skill set in his body than some other guys typically do at the tight end spot. So it's on us to try to put him in those positions where he can maximize his abilities. And then not put too much on his plate where he's thinking, and you kind of eliminate some of those things, some of the advantages that he naturally has.
Chris, what do you think of wide receiver room overall?
It's been a great group to work with. There's a lot of different pieces in that room that can do a lot of different things, but then there's a lot of guys with I would really say the mental flexibility that we can put them all over this place. You know what I mean? Guys can handle being outside guy, being an inside guy, being a single receiver, lining up in the backfield if we needed to. A lot of the adjustments, they communicated really well together this spring, which was fun to see. They're helping each other out. We're not keeping secrets from each other when we're running our stuff. So that was always good to see. And then guys, at the end of the day, they're making plays. And that's what you want to see. There's good rapport with them in the quarterback room. I think everybody was comfortable as we're just trying to get on the same page as we go through this thing to start.
Is Christian Kirk an X-receiver, slot receiver? How would you describe him?
He is. Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's what he is?
So
Okay.
he's got the ability to align all over based on what we need. And again, it's about putting our guys in position to do what they do well. If there's a matchup, a play, a situation where he needs to be an outside receiver, he's got the skill set to do it. If he needs to align in the slot because that's what best suits what we're trying to do or accomplish on that play or that week, he's got the ability to do it. And he's got, just like I said, the mental flexibility to where if we need to move him in the game, he can handle all that stuff. And so that's a really valuable asset that we put a premium on with him, and that's kind of why he was targeted as one of the guys we wanted to get and bring in here.
Does Trevor or some of the other guys talk to you about what it was like here last year, some of the dysfunction, or they just kind of buried that trauma in the backyard?
Yeah, I think guys have just done a great job of trying to learn, who's here and what we're asking them to do. So we haven't really dug into a lot of that thing, or a lot of, what went on here in the past. That's not really our concern right now. It's more of, getting what we want to get accomplished today and moving forward with this thing.
What are you seeing out of Ford?
Out of Luke. Luke's done a great job. And again, Luke's like those other guys, we've put him in a couple different roles to see how he thrives. Like we mentioned earlier, like Coach mentioned, it's about finding the best five and whatever combination that is. So, whether that's either guard spot, center spot, but he's shown a good mental ability to handle a lot of things that we've thrown at him early as a rookie. We'll ask a lot of those guys on the interior, whether it is center, whether it is guard, but he's done a great job handling all that. He's, as far as I can tell from that room and the environment that they've created in the offensive line room, he fits the culture of what they want. You want a lot of rookies to kind of come in, keep their mouth shut, learn a lot, prove themselves, and then you let their personality come out a little bit. And I think all those guys have done a good job of doing that.
What are your thoughts on Laviska Shenault, a guy going into his third year? He's played some different roles in different offenses. Even played some running back. When you look at him, do you look at a guy with a skill set that you just kind of have to figure out how to put in the place to maximize it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a lot of receivers looking that are 220, 230, the range that Laviska is, and, as dynamic as a ball carrier as he can be. And again, like you said, he's played a lot of different roles. He's been put in a lot of different positions. He's played for a lot of different coordinators, and that's a lot of guys. You'd love to be able to see a guy with continuity in the system and how he evolves as he learns it and masters it and really moves forward with that. And he hasn't really been fortunate to be in that kind of situation yet with his career. Hopefully we can provide a little bit of that and really maximize his abilities, like you said, because he can be a unique type of player.
I think I talked to him and he said that this was his 5th straight year with a new offensive coordinator, new head coach.
Yeah.
Can you see some of that in him that he just really hasn't had a chance to kind of key in on some of the things specifically that a coach or coordinator wants to see from a receiver? Because
Yeah,
everybody looks at it a little bit differently.
Right, there's probably a little bit of that. Now, when you go back and watch the tape on somebody else, or we're watching tape across the league, you don't know what they're being asked to do, but you've seen a lot of things. You do see him lined up in the backfield, so you see people probably trying to find different ways to utilize his skill set and what he was able to do in college, all that different stuff. But again, it's about, like it is with every position, maximizing what those guys, what their skill sets are and how they can best be featured in our offense.
Did the veterans sort of exceeded your expectations as far as picking up things, the work ethic, and all the things that go into that?
Yeah, I don't know if I could say they exceeded any expectations. I don't know that I came into this thing putting any expectation on anybody, what they had or what we thought we were going to get out of them. But we've been very pleased with the effort and the attitude that everybody's given us, the way they've all worked every single day. We had great attendance throughout the offseason, a lot of engagement and meetings. On the field, there's been great energy. Their guys are very coachable. They've done a good job with that. And, that's just exciting to see as a coaching staff that your guys are as engaged and as involved and energetic to do things as we've seen from our guys.
What type of presence has Marvin Jones been in the receiver room, and not only the impact he has on the other guys, but on the field as well?
Yeah, Marvin brings it every single day, and that's what's kind of the fun thing about him. He's always got a smile on his face in the meeting rooms, very engaged, asks great questions. He kind of speaks up. There's some of those times you see these veterans that ask questions in a meeting room that I would bet you he probably knew the answer to, but he knew that somebody probably needed clarity on that, so he'll ask it on behalf of other people. And that's what you like to see in guys that are the leaders of their position rooms. And, I think we have a lot of leadership ability with the guys we have, but Marvin is definitely in that group of guys that everybody looks to. He's proven a lot in this league year in, year out for a long time now. And so, he kind of carries that respect, and then the character he has, the work ethic he has, the production he has, that all helps, obviously.
What's it been like for you, Press, since this actually is, technically your first offseason as a coordinator? Are you finding yourself gravitating towards any one position group, or is it truly dividing your time equally? Is it primarily working with Trevor? How would you describe it?
Well, I would probably like to say that I have my hand kind of in all the position groups and just trying to see that. But, I think the position coaches have done a great job of establishing their cultures in there. So we kind of want to let that happen organically as that goes. But, I want to make sure that everybody sees my face at some point in time. So I want to sit in everybody's meeting, just show presence, get to know those guys too. But, yeah, the position coaches have really handled their rooms really well. I would say probably if I'm gravitating towards one spot, it's probably been the quarterback room. That's just where I'm comfortable. But, Mike McCoy, Andrew Briner, Henry Burris, those guys have done a great job of handling that room and really being a great sounding board for those guys.
I get it that you're sort of focused on your side of the ball, but do you have any impressions of Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd and what they can do for the defense?
Yeah, those guys bring great energy. I think just overall working against our defense every single day, we're installing plays, they're installing plays. We're not scheming each other. We're not trying to get after each other. So sometimes we just have their number on a play because they're putting in XYZ blitz and we're running this play and it just happened to work out for us. But, you definitely feel the speed of Devin Lloyd. And then Trayvon Walker, just the versatility of all the different things he can do. And again, it's tough to evaluate what they're doing in the offseason because, again, the restrictions of how physical things can be, you don't get to see all that element of it. The quarterback's not live, so some guys stop 5 steps away from the quarterback, some guys run past the quarterback. So your interpretation of a sack sometimes is a lot of different, could be different based on who's watching it. So I think that's a little gray, but you definitely see and feel those guys out there, whether you're calling a play and you're looking around to see who the edge guy is and different things. You certainly notice 44 out there, but you look on the other side and you're like, oh, maybe it's 41. So it's like it's not much better over there. But it's good to see. It's a good problem, obviously, to deal with as an offensive staff and look across and see those guys.
Once training camp comes along, will there be a little difference there with the defense trying to scheme up to stop certain things that y'all are trying to do and vice versa?
Yeah, I'm sure at some point, like Coach mentioned, we'll probably have some call-up periods where it's more, hey, let's line up, let's put the football down, let's play. Now, the situations all kind of dictate what you're doing, whether it's, hey, this is a third down competitive period, it's a 2-minute. You have all those different things, but as you work your way and you kind of get through your install maybe a little quicker than you would in the offseason, then you kind of get into, we have some more competitive periods where we're really trying to get after each other and see who wins.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.